In the recent privacy policy update by WhatsApp in January 21, people realized that WhatsApp is not really free, and there are concerns about privacy, security, and what about freedom, what data you want to share with Facebook and third-party companies or any advertisers for that matter, and whether you choose to do it or not. If you want the essence of the privacy policy update, I will link the video in the description below. You can go through. In this video, we are going to do a comparison of world's 3 most talked about and widely used messaging applications, WhatsApp, Telegram, and Signal. And we are going to do the comparison based on the features and security. Stay with me till the end for the final verdict. Hi, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Shri, and on this channel we explore and learn technology in the simplest possible way. First, with the features. With WhatsApp, along with your messaging chatting features, it supports audio and video calls. It supports groups with size limit of 256. It supports group video calls up to 8 users. It supports channels. You can share files up to 16 MB file size limit. On the documents, you can share up to 100 MB. It supports backup to cloud, both Google and Apple. It supports sharing location as well as sharing live locations. It supports dark mode. It supports disappearing messages now, more recently, and you can broadcast to multiple peoples. It supports UPI payments, at least from India perspective, and it has feature of sharing your status or stories, which is coming from the Facebook family of features. Now, when it comes to Telegram, it also supports audio and video calls. It supports groups, and amazingly it has a limit of 200,000 people. That's vastly huge. It doesn't support group video calls. It supports channels. You can share files in Telegram with size limit up to 1.5 gigabytes, so that is something amazing. It doesn't support backup, so there is only desktop version of Telegram through which you can export your data, but it's not automated backup restore thing. It supports sharing location, live location. It also has the night mode. It also had the self-destruct messages since long time. Now, it doesn't have other 3 features from WhatsApp, but it has some more features which are really amazing. So it supports editing the sent messages. You can schedule messages. It has support for bots, polls, quizzes, hashtags, and loads of stickers, and a lot of other customization features. That makes it a pretty good platform to think about. Now, when it comes to Signal, it also has audio and video calls. It also supports groups with a size limit of 1000. You can make group video calls with up to 5 users. It does not support channel. You can share files here again with size limit of up to 1.5 gigabytes. That's at par with Telegram. It supports local backup with a strong paraphrase encrypted store. It supports sharing location but not live location. It supports dark theme. It supports disappearing messages, and there are some other features which are specific to Signal which are really cool. So it supports blur faces. What is blur faces? Is when you share an image, you have a option wherever there are people, it will blur their faces particularly. So this is a very nice feature in terms of security of the people who are being captured on photographs. Then it supports one-time viewable messages. So this is something similar to Snapchat. You can choose while sharing that this image can, or this media can be only viewed once by each person. That is amazing. There is a beautiful feature called Note to Self that is present in Slack, for example, but it's an enterprise tool. We won't talk about that. So this is particular section where you can just type or send anything which is for your own references. It supports relay voice calls to its servers. So this is again a great feature in Signal. It will delay the voice quality a little bit, but it completely conceals the identity of the caller. So it's a super privacy feature. It has support for incognito keyboard. Now, mind you that when you type in any messaging platforms, when you use the keyboards inside them, they can track all the text you type, how you type it, and they can learn about you. So this can go against you when you think from privacy perspective. But Signal has a feature that you can make it incognito keyboard, so they won't read anything whatever you are typing. It has another feature called as screen security, which can block people from taking screenshots of whatever you have been sharing with them. Now let's come to security. When it comes to WhatsApp, it supports application lock, that you can lock the application with biometric security or PIN, those sort of things. That is first level security. It also supports two-factor authentication, which most people don't use, but you can think about using it. What it means is that it's not just one way it will identify that it's you, but there are two different ways. So it can be done with the help of maybe any authenticator applications or OTPs or any those sort of things. It has end-to-end encryption enabled by default, like WhatsApp says, for your chats and voice calls. It has end-to-end encryption for group chats. However, it does not encrypt metadata. What metadata means is the data about the actual text messages, which may include the sender's phone number, recipient's phone number, date and time of the message, etc. At a first glance, it's easy to discard message metadata as it seems trivial, but using metadata, researchers can create a network that describes with whom and when an individual communicates, and they can create a behavioral profile of you that can tell a lot about you. So you don't really have to know what you're talking about. So this is one scary part. It also does not encrypt backups. This is mind-blowing, because what's the use of end-to-end encryption in your chats if the backups are not encrypted, if they're placed in clear? It uses OpenWhisper Systems encryption protocol, which is a very good protocol. So that is a good point on WhatsApp. And it is owned by Facebook. So that is something which basically raises a red flag with most people with the new policy updates. So it's not just about what data, it's about whom it is going to and how much do you trust them about keeping your data really private or secure. Right. Now coming to Telegram, it also provides similar app lock features, biometric security, etc. It also provides two-factor authentication. It does provide encryption, end-to-end encryption, but not by default. So you have to create something called as secret chats, in which the communication will be end-to-end encrypted, and even Telegram won't be able to read anything from it. It does not encrypt group chats. All right. Telegram also does not encrypt metadata, as far as I could find. It does not encrypt backups, but essentially there are no backups, so there's only data export mechanism in the desktop version of Telegram. Telegram uses a closed source MT-Proto encryption protocol compared to the OpenWhisper system encryption protocol. Since OpenWhisper Systems code is open source, it's basically viewed and scrutinized and reviewed and fixed all and over by a lot of security experts all over the world. So that's how it has become very strong and reliable over the years. MProto, on the other hand, is a closed source, so not many people know what exactly it does. So it may be very good, but from privacy perspective, we don't really know. So that is little bit gray area on Telegram's part. And it is owned by Telegram LLC. So that was started by two brothers, Russian, and they are quite advocate of people's privacy. So hopefully the intentions are good. Now when we come to Signal, it also has those similar features like app lock, two-factor authentication. It has end-to-end encryption enabled by default everywhere in all sorts of Signal communications. It also has encryption enabled for group chats. It also encrypts your metadata. This is an amazingly important point to note about Signal. It also encrypts your backup. It doesn't let you store or translate anything without encryption. And it uses the OpenWhisper Systems encryption protocol, which is used by WhatsApp. So Signal is basically founded or started by the person who was behind OpenWhisper Systems and one of the co-founders of WhatsApp, who left Facebook after the privacy incident scenario in Facebook a couple of years ago. And it is owned by a Signal Foundation, so it's non-profit, and like I said, it runs on donations. So intentions looks quite clean here. So what is the verdict? So to summarize, for WhatsApp, it has good features for most of the people. It has conditional security, I would say. You have to know what you're doing. It has privacy risks, as we saw. It doesn't encrypt metadata or backups, and the recent policy changes are really alarming. When it comes to Telegram, it has tons of features and customizations. It also has conditional security, as we saw. It has some privacy risks based on how you use it and for what purposes. And when it comes to Signal, it has good features for most. It has always enabled security, which is a very good point for Signal. It has least or almost no privacy risks as far as we could see for now, and it's used and recommended by the best of privacy advocates. So as you can see, Edward Snowden uses it, Jack Dorsey, the CEO of Twitter, uses and recommends it, and he rightly puts it is a refreshing model for how critical success should be built, right? So it's open source, peer reviewed, funded by entirely grants and donations. And recently, when Elon Musk tweeted on Jan 7th after the WhatsApp privacy policy updates, used Signal. So that was basically exploded people who went and chose Signal. So Telegram is basically useful in terms of when you have large groups you have to manage. Administrative purposes, maybe society groups or any kind of large organization or structures. It has a lot of customizations, and administrators will be pleased with the kind of freedom and power they have through it. But from personal usage perspective, all the normal people who are using WhatsApp, I think Signal is the one which you should go for next, and that is my verdict for today. If you think this has helped you, please consider liking the video, subscribing to my channel, and thank you for watching, and see you in the next one.